The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So I don't know if all socks are this way, but the socks that I buy have such drastically different options of like the cut, like, oh, crew or ankle or no show, and they're all fractions of a centimeter different, but they like fit differently, especially ones that are like below the ankle or also no show. I have been slowly driving myself to madness because I have always bought the same height and accidentally apparently bought two others.
Oh no.
And they're all mixed up now.
Oh,
so
no.
I will grab a pair of socks and put them on, and one like sits on my ankle and the other one is, down at my heel.
I can't fathom. There is a substantial chunk of the population who just wear socks that aren't the same.
No.
I know. Like people who wear two different colors on, one on one foot, one on the other, like two different cuts. And like that blows my mind.
I mean, I understand two different colors. Like that's just like being fancy, but two different cuts of a sock seems very strange.
Yeah, that I can't do. I do have socks that are the same cut, same everything, except they're different colors, and I will wear the different colors. And I have a system. If I'm feeling particularly like not aggressive in a day, but like if we're gonna come in to record and I'm like, it's gonna be like a fight day or something, in the recording, I wear the red sock on my right foot because it's like my more dominant foot, and then the blue sock on my left foot. And that's just a thing because the fiery red is like it's time to kick some ass because that's what I'd kick with. But then if it's like no, it's gonna be a chill day, I switch it. It's blue on the right foot and red on the other.
For sure this was about to be a setup to a punchline,
no.
And it's just a meaningless story. Thank you.
It is. I'm just saying. I wear the different colored socks. They're the same cut though.
I can't fuck with different colored socks. If I have like two identical pairs of socks, but one is slightly more dingy, I can't even have like a fresher sock and a dingier sock. Like I've got to find the two closest to the same degree of dinginess and put them together.
Well, so if you were to walk into my bedroom now, it looks like the beginnings, like I'm starting to unravel because every morning when I go to put socks on and inevitably one doesn't match, I throw it in a pile in the corner with the kind that I think it goes with. And then I keep pulling out pairs of socks and trying on until I find two that match.
Here's what you should do. What's your budget like right now? Like how's your financials?
Oh, shoestring.
Okay, perfect. So donate all of them.
Yeah.
And just
start
over. Yeah.
I'm afraid to though because I don't know if I remember the kind that I want because I keep thinking I'm buying the kind that I want and they're not.
Rev, have you considered sandals? Just like get rid of the entire sock debacle entirely.
My big toe looks like Tweety Bird because I don't have a toenail. And so it just looks like Tweety Bird's head. And the other toe is kind of a horror show also. So
perhaps a clog then? A clog?
Yeah, maybe a nice croc.
I feel like you all are missing the obvious solution here, which is sock garters. And
I love a sock garter.
Have them attach and then be at various lengths, but your socks will be held up the same.
Could I get away with sock garters with shorts?
Yes.
How does that work?
To me, yes.
What do you mean, get away with?
Well, I know what I need to buy for Gen Con as we prep, so.
Beach day!
Beach day
sock garters!
Oh, it's time to let the recap roll.
And there's this odd distortion, this odd twisting of space. Your ears pop, and then you're looking at the ship from the side where she had been sitting.
Would this count as a new land creature or phenomenon?
Stories are occurring to you of this person that had been beheaded and a few years later showed up again. And then he'd been impaled and showed up a few years later. And over again, all of these different deaths had befallen him, and yet still he seems to remain. So what occurs to you instantly, a being like this, doing a thing to kill her isn't going to work? More or less in unison, you have to do all of the things to kill her. Stake her in the heart with a wooden stake, behead her, and rip out her vampire fangs at the same time. You know you have to do this because of how strong she is, how fast she regenerates, that given enough time, if you don't do all 3 at once, she will regenerate. But if she's able to feed, she will regenerate much, much faster. That thought occurs to you as she grabs onto one of the survivors and digs her fangs into their neck. You've all just watched as Pepper Anson has magically changed places with Kim, putting herself onto the ship and skittered across the deck to grab one of the shoreman prisoners and start to bite down on their neck.
I want to spin my ante.
Okay, what are you wanting to do?
I want to trip her up before she can feed.
What are you thinking?
I think it's quite literal. I think I see her running towards this guy and look down at where the ship has taken some damage from a stalactite. That's the ceiling one,
Yep.
right? I see where one of the deck boards is loose, and I stomp on my end of it so the other end comes up and literally trips her.
You just turtles and timed her, and that makes me so happy. Yes, absolutely. And this board trips her up, smacks her off course, and she tumbles against the rail.
With your description of her condition, I imagine her going in to bite one of these people, sinking her top fangs into them, and then picking up her lower jaw with her hand and pressing it against the bottom.
Grabbing her tongue with a hand and like a paintbrush lapping up the blood.
A lot of people with no jaws in this arc of the show.
What can you say? Tass has a fetish?
I guess so.
It's because we're so jaw-droppingly amazing.
Hey!
End of episode.
Star wipe.
End of Critshow.
A rare 3-minute episode.
Kim, where the hell did she go?
She's on the ship.
I'm going to start running towards the ship.
You can certainly see a flurry of activity as the shoreman prisoners are just scattering. A few of them running down below deck. 1 or 2 jump off the side just to get away from Pepper.
I want to try to get all of the prisoners secure on the ship, in a way that she can't just grab them and eat them real quick.
Okay, yeah, how so?
I'm going to take some of these boards that have gotten busted from, again, the ship taking damage and kind of wedge them in and cover the door frame so she can't just get through to where they are. Kind of create a barricade.
Okay, would this be... It's sort of a dirty trick, but not really, or more kind of protecting them than tricking her.
Could this alternatively be a breakout? Because, you are removing them from one physical space to another one that is safe?
I could buy that it is, you're breaking them out of this fight, of this battle. You're getting them down to the next level. Yeah, I like that.
It's also a break-in because she's stuffing them into a room
That's true.
that they're not currently in.
That's true. So go ahead and roll this break-in/out, I think.
Okay.
Technically, into the, out of,
Into the room, out of danger.
I'm about to break something.
The fourth wall.
Ooh, yeah, I sure am. That's a 5.
Okay, so I think you grab a few pieces of the broken pieces of ship and you start jamming these in here as you're ushering the shoreman through the door. And one of them stops to help you and picks up another piece of wood and comes up behind you to help set it in and puts a hand on your shoulder, nodding encouragingly. And as you turn back to finish the work, he sinks his fangs into your neck.
Oh no!
And you take 2 points of damage.
No, she doesn't, because I'm spinning my theatrics hold.
What happens?
Yeah, so my last hold is swoop in and save your soulmate from a danger.
Okay, so I think you're able to watch this as you're running up and getting onto the ship that this guy's helping, and as Megan is facing the other way, you watch his fangs extend as he's about to lean in.
I want to take swoop really literally. I want to grab a rope from the rigging and swing by and then just with both of my boots, just boot this guy in the chest away from Megan.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely you do. And he goes careening into the water.
He was a vampire. He was going to bite you.
Yeah, I almost got. Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not gonna get this door fixed though. I was trying to keep her out from everyone, but there's not enough here. I can't do it.
Landara, you were running right along with Kim, so safe to say that you have gotten on deck at the same time and watched this dope maneuver. And Pepper Anson is up against the railing, twisting around to find her foes.
I'm going to reach into my bag again and hurl a glass bottle at her.
Get into a scrap,
Yeah, okay.
I suppose.
Fair. 10.
All right, you can take the ante or avoid harm.
I will avoid harm.
Okay, and what have you thrown?
She is covered in whiskey.
Oh no, not the whiskey.
Interesting. I can't imagine where this goes from here, but interesting. Yeah, it shatters over her, and you see a few cuts in her already charred flesh that already are starting to heal up a little. Jake, you see this bottle of whiskey shatter over Pepper. What's going on?
I mean, I love matches. I've expressed how much I enjoy having these and using them.
I heard that about you.
So I will light a match and, monkey over there. Set her ablaze.
That darn monkey.
This is what we call a team-up attack.
Yeah.
I jump into Landara's open hand to fastball special me.
Oh, my
With a
God.
lit match. It's just flying through the air, covering it with one hand.
Protecting it from the wind.
I think this is also getting to a scrap.
God, I wish I could draw. Like, that's... I need Monkey Jake just being thrown through the air, defending the flame of a match with his other hand.
That is an 11.
Would you like to take the ante or avoid harm?
I'm going to take the ante again.
All right. Then I think as you drop this match on your path over her... This was a full bottle of whiskey that you're dropping this match on, so it's less of her catching on fire and more of an explosion. I think you take 2 points of harm.
Okay, I'm going to mark my armor to reduce that by 1.
Okay, and you skid across the deck as well, and Pepper is screaming in pain and rage, doing that bizarre crab skitter towards the closest person, which I think now... is Jake.
Well, I have no idea what she is, so has anybody clocked her yet?
I don't know what she can do, but I know that if she feeds, she'll heal way faster, and we gotta do a bunch of stuff to kill her at the same time, but basically just incapacitate her, and then we can do it all at once.
Okay. I want to try to slash at Pepper Anson with my sword before she can get to Jake.
Okay, let's see you get into a scrap.
9.
And what's your damage again?
It is 2 harm, and it is strange, so it is magic or armor defeating.
So as you lash out, you see more of these wrappings like slough off of her. And every time this happens, every hit you guys get, like it's less like the clothes that she's wearing and more like a part of her is being removed. Her very vitality seems to live in both the wrappings around her and the cloth dangling from the ceiling. And your hit knocks her aside, and she grabs onto the railing, still on fire. The deck is getting a little charred. One of the rails is a little bit alight, but she's still standing. Now that you're the closest, she's facing you here, and her eyes just narrow. You see through the flame engulfing her, and very quickly that cloth dangling from the ceiling lashes down and grabs onto both of your wrists, hauling you up into the air.
Oh?
And they're starting to pull your arms straight out, and you're starting to feel the strain. You feel a pop, and you take 1 point of harm.
I would like to take a black mark.
Okay.
I'm going to use my new ability, Don't Fear the Reaper.
And tell us again what this does.
Take a black mark to mark someone you can see. While they're marked, you can sense where they are, and you take +1d to violence against them. And then on a 7 to 9, but in the meantime, take a -1 to anything that doesn't involve finding and killing them.
Nice.
7.
And so what was it?
So now I just take a -1
That's
to
just
anything
the
that
-1.
isn't. Yeah.
All right. You got your bonus. I assume this is over Pepper.
Yes.
And
Kim.
Kim, actually.
She's
yeah.
strung
I'm
up
ready.
perfectly.
Perfect, got her.
Sitting duck.
and then what do you do with it?
Yeah, I want to fire at her and try to disrupt her attention on Kim.
All right. Let's see you get into a scrap.
So, and with this +1d, like it doesn't say take advantage. Am I rolling 3 dice and adding that total up, or am I rolling 3 dice and dropping the lowest one?
Does it explicitly say rolling with advantage or drop the lowest one?
It doesn't. It just says take +1 die.
I think that we just go with what it says then.
Okay.
3.
Let's see that
D6.
18.
Yeah.
Jeez. 10.
Oh my god.
Wow.
A 1, a 2, and a 6.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
I got that 1 and that 2, and I thought, this is
embarrassing.
this is gonna be bad.
All right. Take the ante or avoid harm.
I think I gotta take the ante.
All right. So you take your shot and blow a hole clean through her midsection. And for a second, I think most people on deck might assume that this shot made her explode, because you blow this hole through her and she comes apart. And suddenly there are dozens of shrieking bats that swarm towards you, Landara, shredding into you, biting, clawing, and then wave over you, and then fly past you and coalesce again. You take 1 point of harm, but as these bats coalesce back into what's left of Pepper, she's just laying there on the deck, like eyes unfocused, looking straight up, her remaining arm clawing at the deck as if she's trying to drag herself weakly, but doesn't seem to have anything left.
Am I still being slowly torn apart by pieces
No.
of cloth?
I think there is a long moment of that tension still holding you, but then these cloths seem to wilt as her focus also diminishes, and you're lowered to the deck.
Okay, we got to stake her, behead her, and rip out her fangs.
I look back down at that loose floorboard and just stomp on it extra hard to break it, lift up a stake.
Hell yeah.
I'll behead.
Okay.
And I will draw both my pistols and aim them at her vampire fangs.
Oh my god.
At least one of you has the ante here, so I don't think a roll is needed, that you're able to position everybody and count this down as you all make your strike. Her head both pops off and explodes from 2 pistol shots. Jake drives the stake into her heart, and it takes moments for her to just turn to ash on the deck.
I just envision Jake, like she's on the ground and Jake stakes her, and she does that thing where like a vampire sits up when they've been staked, and they're like, ah! And then Kim cuts her head off. The head spirals into the air, and Landara draws both guns and shoots the teeth out of the screaming head.
That's what happened.
Well, yeah, that's it.
That's it now.
Whatever dumb shit I said, don't.
That's
don't
like
do
a
that.
Romero moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Landara, you are in the mysterious space facing this world's death.
Oh, that one seems like it should have counted as 3. We had to do it 3 different ways.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
But congratulations, it does count as the first of your 99 souls.
Oh, I'll take it. Who's next?
A name I think you've recently discovered. Hunt down Credoom the Beheader. He is of this world, but he is breaking the rules. And you are back on deck, and it is relatively quiet, besides a little bit of splashing in the water next to the ship on one side, and from the other side, Kima climbs up onto deck.
Are you good, Landara?
Yeah, I just got the next name. It's good news, though. It's someone we need to deal with anyway.
Oh, good.
It's that guy who had the demon in him, Credoom the Beheader.
Oh, the Viking.
Yeah.
Nash's bodyguard. Okay. Well, yeah, good. Like you said, we need to deal with him anyway. How's everyone doing?
I'm okay.
I've been better.
I take out my affirmations book and I flip it open to a page and I start writing in it. I thought it was really cool the way you sailed through the air. You did a really good job of taking aim and lighting her on fire. You're getting really good at that.
I'm like, thank you.
This book is usually meant for the heat of battle, but I think in a calm situation, we can warrant that not being a roll and getting 1 health back.
Why did that make me feel so much better?
It's a compliment, damn it.
She's right. You're very good at flying through the air.
Yeah, the way you protected that match, incredible.
Stop it. You guys are going to make me cry.
Take the compliment.
Suddenly you hear a voice from, like, the rail on the side of the ship, and it's that shoreman that had tried to bite Megan. I'm sorry.
Are you back to normal now?
Normal, yes. And he's, like, opening his mouth and tapping his feet. Was hungry, not control. Sorry.
Okay, so the Moonchild's still locked up, and now we're going to have to bust in there. If we take them back first, obviously that's going to be a red flag for Dorva, right?
What the hell is Dorva's deal anyway? Like, he doesn't have any more minions, at least not vampire ones.
Yeah, I think any of the vampires he's got hanging out with him in that house turning back to regular people is going to be a pretty good obvious sign that something happened to Pepper Anson. So,
I mean, if we've got questions about the Moonchild, seems like we should go to Dorva. That should be the next step before we deal with Malia.
Yeah, let's get all these people out of here and go knock on Dorva's door.
Plus, I look at Kima, you and I have a score to settle with Dorva.
Yes, we do. I cannot accompany you. I hope if we are able to open her lair and maw these runes you showed me, that this will free me. But until then, I must stay.
Okay.
She gives you a hug.
Oh, I hug her back. You know, I've always been aware of other versions of myself in other worlds, but you're the first one that I've ever met.
I was not aware of this. Not until I heard you calling, in a way. I am very glad that you are here.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, hey, before we go, can I have some of your blood?
How much?
Not a whole lot. Just, I need to put some of it in some ink. Couple of drops, maybe.
Yes, of course.
Great. And I'll dig in my bag and pull out a vial of ink.
I'll flip her my dagger.
She uses the dagger, pricks her thumb, drips the blood into the vial, and hands it back to you.
Thank you.
So, heading out of here towards Dorva's mansion?
In a hurry.
Yeah, I think we gotta take the ship out to the dock and then from the dock to Dorva's mansion.
Okay, so you are able to make your way around. I think on the way you pass, the shoremen that you had left on the beached White Rabbit, and they're like looking out across the ocean at this new ship, and and give you a little confused wave.
Yeah, I'll yell out to him. The caves are clear, except you'll see your ship. Just don't go past that.
Between our crew and the people we saved, who in theory are also sailors, can we get both ships out?
Yeah, I think so. It'd take some work.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely.
Let's bring them their ship.
I guess.
I just don't want to send these NPCs into the
say,
den of a monster.
Can we just pick
You'll be
them up?
fine. Just don't open the magical door.
Are you doing that first?
Oh, no, probably not.
Yeah.
Never mind.
We're in a hurry.
Just hang out on the beach. We'll be back.
We'll be back. Don't trust anybody.
So you're able to get back to the dock, and the people you saved are just rushing off to find anyone that they know to check in and just be free. Poor souls. And you guys are just heading straight up to the mansion?
Is the red herring still moored here?
It is not.
Then yes, I suppose so.
Yeah, I think we kind of lost the element of surprise when a bunch of Dorva's lieutenants no longer are vampires. So they're going to know something's up.
Yeah, and I mean, absolutely. As you are walking up the hill towards the house.
I'm going to scramble over and collect my effects from under that tree.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem. You can see that there's light coming from inside. The windows aren't shuttered like they had been. And there are figures looking out. The door bursts open and 8 figures come out in light armor with spears, and a 9th steps out of the doorway behind them.
Do I recognize Dorva?
You absolutely do. And they level spears down at you. The man behind the warriors seems confused, a little scared.
You've been tricked.
Go on.
The man you made a deal with, if the story we've heard is correct, he came back one additional time after you thought you wouldn't see him anymore. He made some changes to what you're doing that are going to hurt your world and benefit him.
I know he came back. We cut a new deal. He will stick to the deal.
Look, I don't know what the new deal was. I know that he's not going to keep it. So help us, and maybe you don't die, and maybe your world doesn't die. Or don't, and your days are numbered.
Even if you are correct, he has my people. I will do anything to keep them safe.
Well, not all your people safe. Hi, Dorva.
He narrows his eyes looking at you. It cannot be. You are like the other families. You have made yourself landborn?
No, I'm a Kima from another world. She's alive.
He is entirely perplexed. No, is she really alive?
Yeah.
And you all defeated Pepper?
Yeah.
Even so, the fate of thousands is in my hands, and we are almost done.
He has your people trapped where? On the island with the storm?
Yes.
So why don't you fight to free them?
Freeing them from that place does not free them from the evil that spreads here. He has promised, and he has shown me that he can siphon this evil. If he can weaken it, my people will be free. We can escape.
You said you made a new deal. What was the original one?
It was much the same, but before it was using my people, using their fear to power his creation. He promised in this new deal that If we were to have them all together, he could siphon it faster. Fear is an easy thing to give. I only had to sacrifice a few lives to save my civilization, so I tricked them into grouping together, to being trapped in that place. A few dissented, and he looks at Kim. A necessary sacrifice to get my people away from this spreading evil. I pay it gladly. Our sorcerers left. They left for the continent to help the landborn. They shifted their shapes. Even Kima's family. All of them. The Durans, the Paxts, and the Daltons. Kima was the only sorceress left. So you expect me to take your word against my people's near freedom? Though I think it matters not. Our shrouded beast is gone. If you can kill her, these 8 soldiers will not be able to do you in. And he gestures for them to lower their spears. And they step back. So do what you will with me, but you have killed my people.
Oh, I want to use my Death's Chosen to learn dark knowledge.
All right. What are you hoping for?
This guy's missing something. Like, there's part of the story he doesn't understand. And what's being done here revolves around fear and people dying and this fear of death. So I feel like there might be a piece of information that Death would have so that Dorva is getting the proper answer on this equation. Because right now, he's missing a step. And we can't convince him otherwise unless we actually know what it is.
Yes, I think you get this instantly, that you understand what was used to trick him. The step that's technically missing is that Nash sold him on speeding up this process in a very specific way, just by making some sacrifices. But what Nash didn't make clear to him is that time moves differently in both of these worlds. So Nash made the deal based on this shift in time, didn't explain how it worked, knowing that it's gonna doom Dorva's people in this world for a very long time, even though time moves much more quickly in his.
So Nash shaved 2 days off of the ritual for him and cut off 2 centuries in this world, but it's still whatever.
Like centuries and centuries, yeah.
Like, he took off time, but it's
a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still like lifetimes.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, the spell you guys are using to be here is the only thing keeping them linear for you, but that doesn't mean that that's how it works in general.
Yeah, and it's only linear right now.
Right.
Time, it doesn't work the same in all worlds. It moves faster in some, slower in others. Can I show you something?
He gives a small nod.
I'm going to walk up towards his house and reach in my bag and take out my silver doorknob and put it in his front door.
Okay.
And open the door into the inn that wanders. And because I know that there seems to be a huge conversion here, I literally want to walk him through, close the door, and instantly open the door and walk him back out so that it's seconds at most.
Okay. So the rest of you watch them go in, the door shut. Landara, from your perspective, it's a fraction of a second as you open the door again. And it's early morning in Whistler's Cove. The 8 guards are sitting around on the ground outside of the door. Your friends are also sitting a little further back on the path.
They've killed us for capturing their leader.
It was a trick.
Like, she kidnapped our leader.
But yeah, they stand quickly checking on Dorva, and he's like looking around. Is this the same morning?
It's been a couple hours.
And he like looks at the ground thinking. He's clearly doing the math and looks up at Landara. The world that he comes from, is it like this?
Almost exactly.
He wilts, his face going pale for a seaborn. That iridescence seems to fade. He looks torn. Landara, roll a parley for me here, now that you have, let's say, an interested party in what you're selling here. I'd give you a +1 for that little maneuver as well.
Okay. 6.
Can I help out?
Yes, what are you doing?
I am talking to Dorva. Listen, I know that this is a lot to take in right now, but speaking from personal experience, I come from a world that Nash destroyed as fuel. He doesn't care about anything but himself. He doesn't care about anything but death.
He's very, very still. Landara, that gives you a 7. You watch him contemplate your words, and he looks at each of you slowly, one at a time. I ask only this, to gain my support and my assistance. Let me live, not out of mercy. I know I don't deserve it. let me live only long enough to make up for what I've done, to let my people judge me.
I think I turn and look at the other three.
I can promise that I won't kill you, but I think you owe Kima a conversation, and I can't speak for her.
He nods. Have you dealt with the Moonchild?
No. Well, sort of. That's another, we know one, a version of her. So we want to know exactly how she is, why she is, what she's been through, because we were figuring she might just also be a victim in all of this.
She is. It was theorized that if Pepper were to turn her into one of these beasts of the night, as well as what she could already do, that she would become this incredible beast of great power, something for Nash to siphon in these spells. We were right, but not the way that we thought. She could not be fully turned. When Pepper tried to bestow her gift, it would only cause the young girl to transform, become feral and wild, strong beyond imagining. But after a day or two, she would simply turn back and her mind would return to her. So we must keep her fed, and Pepper had to continue to bestow the gift every few days. That kept her strong. That was the fuel for this spell.
So maybe if we let this effect clear from her mind and she turns back into herself, we don't have to deal with her per se at all. We just can rescue her.
Just so.
Is it possible she also already turned back?
If she has not fed last night as she was supposed to, less than a day, and she will be herself again.
Plus, Pepper's dead. Everybody else just turned back.
Do you know how to open it?
Yes.
We could send her back to Siobhan.
Let's go get her.
A few hours later, you're standing back in the caves. There is what looks like a cave-in in front of you, but looking close, you can see that there are small runes etched on particular stones facing out. Dorva holds up his hands, making a few gestures, intoning a few words, and all of these rocks seem to spread, making a doorway. He looks in, glances around for a second, and steps aside. She will not want to see me.
I'll walk in. Malia?
You hear a gasp and quick footsteps. Out of the darkness, this small form, like maybe a 16-year-old girl, rushes up to you. Megan?
Yeah, hi. How are you feeling?
I'm really weak.
Okay, we need to get these runes marred so we can get her out of here.
I will hold out my hand for a knife from Kim.
I'll flip it to him.
I'll scramble up the walls and find some of those that were described and start carving them up.
And you take them out, and as soon as you do, there's this pop of a release of pressure. That magical energy dissipates, and Malia walks through the door and just bursts into tears.
Yeah, I give her a hug and I help support her weight. I know, it's okay. We're going to get you back. We're going to take you back to Siobhan. It's all right.
We thought you were dead.
I know, we can talk when we're on the way back, but let's just get you out of this cave right now, okay?
As you make your way out of the cave, Kima also joins you on the ship and smiles as the ship makes its way out of the cavern. She sighs with relief.
I am very, very glad that you heard my cries.
I'm glad you got out. I did not kill Dorva for you. I'm sorry about that. But you're more than welcome to, after you've heard what he has to say.
She slowly shakes her head.
No, my people will judge him.
Okay.
You all make your way back to the docks of Whistler's Cove with now 2 freed prisoners on your way to decide what to do next.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.